allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
JWC County Commissioners Court for today, September 9th, 2024, 1 p.m., now in session. Is there anybody in the public testimony who would like to address the court at this time? Moving forward, agenda item number 4, hold 2025 budget workshop session. Okay. This will be the second workshop. Last week, we held the first one and got a perspective of the needs of our departments. Majority had no requests. We appreciate that. There was a few requests that we did have. Currently, the general fund expenditures on the current 2025 proposed budget, $22,296,025.27. The requests from last week's budget hearing were to the tune of $1,162,456. That increases our budget to $23,458,481.20. $23,458,481.20. On the proposed tax rate that was approved on the proposed budget was at 0.767802, and that would bring us an amount of $2,349,352. Currently, we are, let's see, where's that other? Let's see. Let me see our budget. We are over our expenditures. Let me do that real quick. Six 025.27. hold on. Let's see. Our 2025 proposed budget was 22,296.025, and we're down 2.3 million. And we're adding 1.1 million to that. So the numbers are not too good. Going into the requests, and now we're at the requests, but we'll go department by department as far as.
Can I say, can I?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, we accepted the proposed budget about a week ago. Everybody got 100% of their funds from last year. We funded the retirement plan, we funded the healthcare. Nobody lost any benefits. So the request came in at $1,161,000. So if we were to accept the $1,161,000, we would have to take it from our fund balance. And it will reoccur next year, when it's gonna be 2,000, and then the following year, we're gonna be in the $3-4 million range. So I'm here to say that we need to take action today. We cannot wait 3 or 4 years and deplete our fund balance by $4 or $5 million. So I analyzed the numbers, and I had we had $562,000 of labor expense. And then the rest is essentials. So to me, on our proposed budget, everybody got what they wanted as far as employee benefits and salaries or whatever. But for me to say that we can accept $562,000 for labor, I just don't agree with it. And we cannot choose, we cannot pick and choose who we say yes to, who we say no to. So, so needless to say, I would like to make a motion that we reject all the labor line items, with the exception of overtime, and then address all the other essentials. I'd like to put that into a motion, that we reject all the labor line items with the exception of overtime. And then we can address all the other essentials.
But you just said you couldn't pick and choose who you give it to, who you don't give it to. So why would we want to just not go through the whole thing individually?
Well, I got a motion. If somebody wants to second it, good. If not, we can go.
I just, as far as, can we discuss it real quick? Okay, so, I mean, I also believe that, there's, if everybody doesn't get it, why should anybody get it? And so we can go ahead and go on everything else. Why mess with the labor and the time if we can just, do the other? And, hopefully next year, things go well, maybe everybody wouldn't need that raise. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
So
thinking.
that's a motion, to reject all the labor line items with the exception of overtime, and then we can address the overtime and all the other essentials. That's my motion.
How many labor items do we have? Do we know that?
Labor line items.
Why don't we go
I just
through the
told you,
labor
that's
items and see which ones they are?
$562,000.
Huh?
That it's $562,000.
$562,000.
Why don't we go through the individual line items? The laborers.
That I know that we cannot afford. If our proposed budget takes us to even. anything over that, we're liable for the fund balance.
So we could afford them in the past, we can't afford them now.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but we're discussing it.
How much would it bring it down to?
If we subtract the 562, that'll bring it down to 600,000.
We're gonna have to look at almost $600,000 after we deduct all the line items. And we still have $600,000 to try to reduce. So
Okay,
there's a motion in the second, you seconded,
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 I oppose.
Okay,
I think we can proceed with the essentials and address the overtime. I think the sheriff had some overtime.
okay, so the first
The
one,
nays, you take the vote for the nay?
yeah,
One vote against it.
yeah, we'll have one. So if we go down the line to the first one of the requests, that is constables, correct? Oh, no. Oh, it's just this other piece, yeah.
After hearing the numbers, I kind of agree with Mr. Garcia, what he was saying about labor cost. I had requested another deputy for my department as we had years back. I'd like to withdraw that request, and what I handed out to you guys is change that line item to the introduction of a flock camera system as per Commissioner's Court we discussed this morning. That way we don't have, as far as the retirement, the medical, the insurance, and everything else associated with an employee. Any question on that proposal?
Is this the only system that you checked on with the flock, or?
That's the largest one that's out right now that everybody's using. It's majority in the whole nation. It's a nationwide system. Once you're on it, you can search anywhere for any vehicle, type of vehicle. It'll give you location, everything.
Mr. Long, I don't think we need to pull the trigger on it. There might be some grants for it, and other than that, I think it would have to cover a county-wide, I would think.
This covers nationwide.
I think-
Everybody that's on the flock system can access this data.
If we did do it, like, I agree with Mr. Garcia, we probably need to have it countywide. I think you need to get with the sheriff and try to iron out everything that we need to cover the county, because right now for 2 cameras for 5 years, it's $30,000. And we need to find out how many cameras it'll cost or it'll take to cover the whole county, and then put a number to that.
Well, you can put them anywhere. I mean, they don't
No,
require
I
electricity or
understand we
anything.
can put them anywhere. The question is, how many of them, and then the final price.
Well, the price doesn't change whether you get 1 or 10,000.
No, but it does change, because right now for 2, it's 30,000 for 5 years.
You can do it, well, the reason I had it for 5 years, it's $3,000 per camera per year. That includes warranty, maintenance, all issues with the camera.
But if we have 10 cameras, it's gonna go up 27,000.
It goes up 3,000 per camera, yes, sir.
Exactly, right. Right, that's a big number.
Judge, did we ask a question to them?
Sure.
Sheriff, is there any grants available that you guys would know about?
We did our LPRs through the Operation Lone Star, Sunrise, Border Star. So those grants, if you apply for them, the equipment along with overtime.
Yeah, the flock representative told me this morning, he's gonna send me the information. Some people have been getting grants on them. He said it's pretty time consuming, but it can be done.
Yeah, I think that's a good, that's a good route instead of us having to fund it, because it's gonna take quite a few cameras to cover the whole county.
Well, the reason I have it on this end, because 359, that's the only access out of Jim Wells County into San Pat going to Houston. There's quite a bit of activity in and out of that area.
So right now, are you requesting just for you, or are you trying to request for the whole county?
This is my line item for everybody that uses flock system, yes, sir. It's for all law enforcement nationwide.
Okay, do I hear a motion? No motion? Guys, okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. There was no more requests by any of the JP, of the constables. And tax assessor, no request. District attorney, no request. County auditor, they're gonna meet with the judge on the 16th. District clerk, no request. County court at law, judge, salary request. I have a,
That one went away.
I think that the judge Solis withdrew his request.
So what are we doing there, Judge?
If the judge retracted his request, it'll stay with the proposed budget says, so that's
It's part
157.
of the labor request, Judge.
That's why we did the labor request
Tonight.
to do, so we can't talk about this, right?
No.
This is not for discussion, right? Mr. Garcia?
It's not up for discussion. We made a,
So, yeah, we're stopping all these, this is one of them, right?
well,
So,
that's,
yeah,
we're at hard times, Commissioner.
okay. Yeah, no, I
Do the
understand.
right thing.
Yeah, we all need to do cuts, I understand. All of us.
The sheriff's gonna get hit pretty hard also. Yeah, even more so than what you're trying to protect.
That I'm trying to protect?
Okay, let's move forward. County attorney, no request. County clerk, no request. Then we're coming up to the sheriff.
I believe you all got a copy of the proposed, and again, a revised copy, kind of giving you an idea of what we were requesting. Most of our overtime has gone into transportation, medical transportation, as well as medical attention to the inmates that are taken to the local hospital. The other thing has been travel, that we have to travel to transport our prisoners from one county to another. So we're requesting assistance on that one. We're also requesting for the software that's been always covered by the drug forfeiture fund. As I've mentioned before, the drug forfeiture fund has not been as successful as it used to be. We have
I
several.
don't want to interrupt you, but can you go down the line?
Sure.
Starting with the overtime.
Okay, let's see, I'll get the jail overtime.
Yeah,
Deputies overtime?
the
Salary.
Salary
general,
deputy, okay, deputy
deputy
position,
overtime, we didn't include that in the labor.
okay.
We just wanted you to justify it.
Deputy overtime,
Deputy overtime,
dispatcher overtime, and jail
dispatcher,
overtime.
and,
Okay. What we have is salary deputies.
I just want to know the reason for the request, actually.
For the patrolman, we're requesting 46,000 to be paid, which we used to pay from the drug forfeiture fund. Okay. Now, the overtime for dispatch has also gone up, and we're showing here, deputies overtime would go from 13,000 to 36,589. This is in consideration due to the increase of the transport and, again, having officers to take care of inmates at the local hospital.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. But on that $46,000 on the salary for that deputy in the first one, that one hasn't been, have you covered it? Is
Those
it-
two, yes,
Is there a deputy there?
those two deputies have been covered by the drug forfeiture fund.
Do you have them, do you have two deputies there? There's not
Yes.
an opening.
Is there an opening or? they're
We've got
filled
some
positions?
openings, so we've got some salary savings from that division.
It's currently vacant.
Yeah, it's
currently
currently
vacant,
vacant.
It's currently vacant. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. So that's the one that was covered by drug
Drug
forfeiture.
forfeiture.
Okay.
So we're gonna go down one by one, Judge, or
We're gonna go down to the, because,
individual on the items?
yeah, but we made a motion earlier and approved the motion for all salaries, so the only thing is the OT we're talking about right now, the overtime. So it's the deputy, the dispatcher, and the jail. The other ones, we've already made those decisions.
So is this adjustment was made by what kind of numbers, Judge? I mean,
These are the numbers that we utilized when we had the forfeiture fund paying for it.
Okay, so
So because there's not enough to go around at this time, so we're asking for this increase. Not an increase, but a supplement from the general fund.
So you need
I think
So
the
it's
biggest
not
worry that we have.
Anybody's getting a raise or anything, it's,
it's not
No,
a,
this
sustain
is
it.
this is the same thing. It's just to supplement our drug forfeiture fund that has not been as successful as it used to be.
This is just to sustain that,
That's
the
to sustain
overtime.
that. And I'd like to also mention that last year, the Jim Wells County officers did not get a 3% increase because we got House Bill 22 that took care of them. So we appreciate that and the judge for filing for that grant. One of our biggest concern is the software that needs to be paid. We used to pay it for the longest time, being paid by the Drug Forfeiture Fund Sheriff's Office. And the other one is, of course, our units, where we replace our units. Our units are 24/7 with over 130, 150,000 miles. That would be the request. that
Cindy, do
we-
you have the numbers of what they spent last year on overtime? You don't have it?
There, on the proposed budget, I'm not sure if you have a copy of that. Do you have it? I have it right here.
What we spent last year, or the current, our current deputy's overtime is $13,411.
Yeah, we want to remind you all that we also apply for the other two grants that supplement the overtime at no cost to the county, which is our Border Star and Stone Garden, up to $125,000.
That can be used for overtime, jailers,
Not for jailers,
just for deputies.
for deputies, because we have to report to the federal government.
And dispatchers also, they can't.
They cannot
You can use it for.
apply for them.
So, but you can use it for deputy overtime.
Deputy overtime.
Okay.
How many vacancies do you have on the deputies?
The deputies, we have four deputy
So would
openings.
that be a reason why you have overtime on your,
Yes,
So, excuse me if I may, the grant monies, we can't use for overtime for transports. They're designated for specific operations. So those funds, that's why we asked for the 13,000, or actually more, because obviously the pay increases from the Senate bill also, pay increases have gone up, and the
Please-
amount of transport we're
please submit
doing.
that. salary amount. And of course, there's documentation that has to be submitted every time they submit overtime for these two grants. And it can be, not be for transportation or for taking care of inmates at the hospital.
So the,
Cindy, so all the proposed 2025 are the actuals from last year, right?
What's in the proposed budget is just the numbers. They've pretty much stayed consistently on general fund. We've never increased them for the past several years because the forfeiture had been paying that additional amount and the forfeiture fund had been doing fine. So that's how come general fund numbers have always stayed. They've been like that for the past
10
several
years.
years, yeah.
Now, I'd like to mention that we have over $650,000 pending, but those are waiting for judgments, so that's still out there.
that's another, it might not happen.
Might be this
next
year,
no?
2 years from now, it
Might
just
happen next year, right?
might
Maybe, I
not,
don't know.
yeah. We just got one from 5 years ago. One from 5 years ago, so.
So right now with the deputies OT, dispatcher OT, and jail OT, that's $92,089.
How much is it, Judge?
$92,089. Okay, we'll go down to travel.
Travel is 2,500.
It's 2,500. They asked for 10,000 more, so that's an increase in 7,500. And when you talk about travel, what kind of travel are we talking about?
We're talking about mandated courses that they can only be instructed at different areas where you have more than 50 students. And we don't have that many students that would participate in or else we would call the instructor. As a matter of fact, case in point was the one that they just went to. They had to go to the Valley because you had to have over 80 students in order to get this certification of law enforcement-based training for school districts. So that kind of travel, it kind of gets expensive. We've got an open records training coming up, and that is also going up from the $150 to $300. So it just mandated courses that they have to take or they must take in order to maintain their certification. And again, but everything's gotten so expensive.
Cindy, can you get
Are you keeping track of it?
Can you get a number, Cindy, of all the salary line items that were struck down on the first motion?
Well,
To see how much I would take it down while we continue to go? Okay. So that's travel for educational training and training purposes.
That's correct. And that, of course, we have a training coordinator that does a lot of that for our jailers and and some of the officers that start up with dispatch and jailers and so on. So that's local training. But then, of course, we've got mandated training.
Okay. Office supplies. That's an increase of 3,000. How about the food for jail, 40,000?
That has increased, Judge. Of course, that also has a lot to do with the inmates. We have from 65 to 80 almost every other day. So the food's gotten so expensive, it's really gone to that amount.
So basically the significant amounts is the food and is the computer maintenance you were talking about a while ago?
Yes, sir.
Equipment and capital leases. So you explained a little bit about the computer maintenance. Can you just cover that real quick? A little more?
The computer maintenance, it's a yearly payment that's was made by the forfeiture fund. And it ranges from what amount, Chief? The computer maintenance?
It's 50,000.
50,000. I think last year we paid from drug forfeiture fund, correct?
So this is requesting 124,000 more or 114,000 more?
That also includes, the investigative tools that we use, like Leads Online, all of our other,
Fugitive and all those other programs that we have to utilize for the criminal investigations.
our warrants now, which helps get our warrants signed by the judges digitally, so we can,
And is that program able to tie in with anybody else's program around here?
maybe the judges, I'm not sure. For the warrants now, some of them may.
Yeah, we're working on another software that might be able to integrate all the systems. But just to answer your question. And equipment, are those vehicles that you were talking about?
Yes, sir, vehicles, again, for the longest time, the county has been, not the county, but the jail forfeiture fund has been paying for vehicles. I believe we get $50,000 from from the county, and well, that's not enough to pay for one unit. So we're gonna need some assistance on that this coming year.
And capital leases is an increase of 80,000.
That's the vehicles.
Okay, so how about equipment?
Equipment, that's gonna be for our vests. We did put in for a grant, a bulletproof resistant grant. However, we only got 15,000 for that. So the rest of the money is just so we can outfit all our officers. All of our vests are pretty much expired. You get like a 5-year term out of them. And then they start expiring, and that's start purchasing new vests.
You have the change? Or no?
I didn't quite get what you're asking for the requests
Okay, so like the salary requests,
for their department?
yes. With
With
the motion that we made before and approved the motion, all those salaries requests go away.
Only the
So if I-
overtime.
If I subtract all the salaries and
Except
just
the
leave
overtime.
the overtime and all their other requests, it's 433,289.
So that's a reduction of how much?
Difference, $258,054.
So we're reducing that budget by 358?
So it would be 258.54.
Instead of 691, that
Is
goes
there
down.
anywhere anywhere that you think you might,
We'd be working very well with 240,000,
Judge,
240,000 to cover our bases on what we requested and what we have in place in comparison to the
so we wouldn't put the burden on.
598,000 for operations.
You're saying that instead of the 691, you're requesting 240?
It would cover the 240,000, yeah.
That would include, the deputy salary, the 46,000 that's being paid out of forfeiture, the capital lease program, and then the equipment
What I was asking the judge is if it's
and our software.
part of this, we could cover, Mr. Garcia, out of the ARPA funds, like the computer software stuff, instead of using it from the general fund. Since it's not gonna be that much, maybe we could offset it a little bit and not put a burden on the budget.
If we could squeeze some of that money out, we might be able to do it, but that's gonna be a Band-Aid for only the first year. Yeah, and then we'd have this,
Well, we got next year to work we could relook at it next year.
yeah, we'd have to use it, the ARPA money, we can,
Because he's the biggest part of the.
as long as we have the
budget.
contracts, we can extend it a little more. So we might be able to use a contract to give us more time after
26.
this year till 2025 and 26 to spend that, if we redirect it. So what did you want to cover with ARPA?
Well, I was looking at like the computers and the vehicles, maybe.
Commissioners, judges, I have
will you be able to use that SB 22 for some of that stuff?
Those salaries are already,
You already appropriated all that as between two.
yes, sir.
So if y'all look at the proposed budget, I think we gave you all each one of these. except for-
Revised.
Where we got the number 240,000 would be the 46,000 for the salary, the deputy salary. The $72,087 for the dispatchers. The 114,000 for computer maintenance and software, and then the 80,000 for the capital lease payment. And that would total 240.
Chief, but I have a question. Go ahead. I know you guys are stressing on the $46,000 for the deputy, but we have 4 vacants.
That's including one of them.
And this would be out of the drug forfeiture fund, so what I'm looking at is we can't get a guy. So we put 4, why don't we just go with the 3?
It shortens our manpower.
And I understand, but if we've had it vacant for how long?
About 3 or 4 months.
Because y'all haven't put it out, or because,
No, we're recruiting just the,
We've been to the convention center in Robstown. We've been to the valley to try to recruit some of these people. Now we're trying to get some of our jailers who are wanting to become police officers and kind of send them to the academy so they can also be recruited as deputies.
and right now we're in the middle of police academies. It's right in the middle. So you won't have any actual applicants until probably December.
You know, I think the SB 22 bill passed. It was the greatest thing that ever passed for you guys. And I support 100%, and I wish I could pay you more money, but that's locked up right now. But I would concentrate on other things and maybe just hold off on that. But it's up to you guys.
okay, so for your question on the ARPA, if we did the computer and equipment and the capital leases, that's 254,000. I'm not sure right now we could squeeze that much out of what's already been allocated and not utilized. We're pulling all that money. I'm not sure we have that amount of money that we can. Okay. And those 2 line items, the 60 and the 80, that's absolute?
For the, you're talking about the equipment and then the vehicle, capital lease?
And those are the biggest issues.
Public
They come
safety,
up in the early part of the year, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Those bills come up in the early part of the year.
Yes, sir. They come up in January.
Do you have a balance on the?
Not a total, like right now, there's, because we have around 400,000 for sure, but that was gonna be used for some repairs and stuff like that. We could squeeze 200,000 from ARPA. That's gonna leave 54,000 of that 254.
Okay, so we could approve that. It'd be a lot easier to approve that, then.
Yeah. And we did that for this year, Cindy, just make sure I'm doing this right. We've already trimmed it down to $433,289. If I paid 200 out of ARPA, that'll just leave us 230. 229.
What specifically are you looking to get out of ARPA for the payments? or-
So the computer maintenance, the 114, and then the equipment and capital lease, those all total 254,000. If I could squeeze 200 out of ARPA, that'll cover it for next year only. And then next year,
Hopefully,
this time,
hopefully
we'll be
we'll
in the
get
same
something
boat.
coming, yeah.
Yeah. We'll be on the same boat, so we'd have to
You'll pay us back?
figure things out.
With those changes, Judge, you're looking at, with removing the software maintenance and the capital lease payment, 239,289
Total.
total, with the OT and all the other expenses, minus those two, that,
And minus the salaries.
yeah.
So from 691, 343, it's gone down to 239 what?
239,289.
That's something we can live with.
Okay.
We can work with that.
But we gotta go
Yeah,
through
you
it.
can work with that, Sheriff. Okay, so tell me what we're trying to approve, the overtime,
So I have deputy
overtime, travel, workers' comp. Go down the line, because
That's what I'm
we're
saying.
going back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'll go down the line. I have deputy overtime. I have dispatch overtime. I have jail overtime. I will have to figure out the fringe on top of that. I don't have it at this moment. Then I have travel. I have office supplies, postage, food for the jail, batteries, tires, ammunition, conferences, loose,
Leos?
Leos, miscellaneous towing, and equipment.
So what's the price on that?
239,289.
So we're gonna make a motion to approve
Make a
that.
motion to approve this one.
We're not gonna go individually,
No, because,
line item to line item.
no,
Everything I just said.
yeah,
Okay, I'll second it.
okay. Right. So I have a motion. Y'all can live with that? I have a motion.
Okay, thank you very much.
I
sir.
have a
Thank you,
second.
Commissioners.
Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
District Court. We have to wait on that one. JP's 1 through 6, I think JP 1 had a request. JP 1.
Good afternoon, everybody. For the record, my name is Judge Richard De Leon, Justice of the Court, JP1 here in Jimos. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Judge, the request you had was only the clerk, right?
That's it, sir.
Okay, with the motion that was brought earlier, we voted yes. We struck down any new salary positions.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let me see here. Let's see. Look for JP1. JP3, no request. JP4, no request. JP5, no change, no request. JP6 had $6,000 for salary, for a salary increase. So that was shot down too, with that. Request denied.
Judge, on JP6, there was a request to move some monies from equipment and furniture. Are y'all
That's fine.
Yeah, I need it, I guess.
What was the request?
It's at the very bottom. Looks like equipment, he wants to move out of 500 out of equipment and into furniture and fixtures. It's on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with
He
that.
can do that.
You can do that by
Y'all just need
himself.
to okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve that.
I need a second. I got a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. County treasurer, no requests. County judges' budgets, veterans, there was no request. Emergency management, no request. Non-departmental, we had requests that were on the proposed budget. And I think the major request right there was it 250 or 200 for the courthouse and building? Oh, that's the other one. Huh?
Additional 150?
Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. For non-departmental, that was for the courthouse and buildings. Departmental is, non-departmental is 20,000 for the postage.
But then we two and I took ours out.
Now, to be approved, taking away the 20,000.
So, but I had a question on that because I know that the district clerk and county clerk, they send out, it's mostly, it's expensive what they've been sending out. Not because they want to, it's because it's a necessity because of the courts. I'm not sure we should lower that amount. If we lower it, we just lower it, just the amount that was
14, right?
the 14,
8
right?
and 6.
And keep the other 6 in there. Can I get a motion?
So I didn't understand what you were
What was
saying.
that, Judge?
It's because
Okay.
he wanted 20,000.
Yes.
But we two and I took ours out, so that just leaves
Yeah,
6.
okay.
That just leaves 6.
Yes, okay.
I make a motion to approve the 6,000.
Second.
Yeah, a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. See, I'm looking for a document here, but I have too many things up in here. Okay. County court, no requests. Elections, no requests. IT, no requests. Courthouse and buildings. That was the request for $150,000 on buildings and improvements. And then, so those, the 2 positions for the custodial positions, those were denied through the first motion. So the only one on that one is the courthouse and buildings, or buildings and improvements for $150,000. And that's for this building, and for if we purchase another building here, we'll need to put funds in there for the improvements or or remodel, or I say remodel, not remodel, for anything that comes up on a new building. Can I get a motion on
What
that?
was that, Judge?
The 150,000?
Uh-huh.
If we purchase another building, we're gonna need that 150 for things that happen or go wrong, or if we need anything for that building. I I deal with the buildings and improvements on a yearly basis, and that's not enough money for this current courthouse.
Hope we don't have to put $150,000 into a building we purchased.
No, well, you never know what happens. I mean, we can lower it.
Can we lower it?
We can lower it to 100, I don't mind. I just want to make sure we have something to fall back on. Historically, if needed, that budget goes negative, but I don't like to have negative budgets or knowing that it can go
Let's
negative.
lower it to 100, Judge.
No problem,
If we don't use it, it goes back to the general fund anyway.
I'm down, but I'm good with that.
Motion to lower to 100,000.
Second.
Got a motion, has second, lower to 100. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. City County Airport. I think we have some city officials here. Come on.
Good afternoon. I'm here to speak on the airport expenses. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Vanessa Torres, and I work with the City of Alice in the Finance Department. The first page is the function sheet, and this just shows what positions we have at the airport. Currently, we have a part-time airport manager and a light equipment operator. The airport manager handles the day-to-day contact for the FFA, red tours, and the light equipment operator handles the maintenance, mowing, and that of the airport.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you say mowing, what part of the mowing do you do? What all mowing do y'all do? All 600 acres?
Michael Esparza, City Manager. Thank you for having us. Yes, we mow all 600 acres, and mainly the regular mowing occurs along the taxiways and the runways, and then further out, that gets done. We did have somebody doing some hay baling, and that hadn't happened for a while, so we do mow that pretty
So y'all
regularly.
don't hay bale anymore?
Not right now.
You plan to do it in the future?
Yeah, we've been trying to get an RFQ out to be able to do that. It is a little difficult being an airport, because if you're trying to hay bale, you want it to grow a little bit higher. We don't want it to grow that high, so it's kind of a balance of, actually, when do we do it and when do we not? So it is a little bit of a challenge.
Out of those, what is it, 650 acres, something like that, no?
I believe there's 600.
How many of that would they hay bale?
That I don't know.
It'd have to be all around the perimeter, and I say perimeter, but a little further away from the perimeter, from on the runways and everything, because the further you get away from the runways, the growth of the grass changes. So it has to be a little further away from the runways, perimeters.
I'm just asking, the hay, would they sell it? Do y'all go in parts, or you just give it away, or?
I think traditionally that's been exchanged to bale it, and then they just, whoever uses it, they're using it,
take it for
baling
free?
it, their own equipment and all that. But we haven't had anybody in a couple of years doing that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the positions there? Yep, okay.
Just one more. The airport manager, it's part-time,
Yes, part-time position.
and it says interim.
No, it's a permanent airport manager. Considered a custodian manager is how it kind of works. And so there's a lot of things that happen day to day, and that's person's there. Before, we've always had an airport manager. Charles Brazell was the last one. He passed away. I took over those duties. My cell phone's still on the FAA website. I still get phone calls on the weekends, after hours, asking questions about the airport. But the airport manager is also tasked with issuing notice to airmen. Anytime there's any kind of problem at the airport, or if there's any, the FBO may not have fuel for some reason, or it's a late delivery, or any kind of obstruction. There was an obstruction before when there was some cranes coming in. And so they're tasked with those kind of duties.
On the next page is the expenses, and we have it broken up by personnel, materials, purchase property, other purchase property, and professional. If you'll notice also, we show the 2023 activity, what we originally budgeted in 2024, our revised, and then the last column is what we're proposing for fiscal year 2025. So we can focus on the 2025. So the first column is salaries, and that includes the salaries of FICA, health insurance, retirement, and workers' comp. Next, we have under materials and supplies, office supplies, wearing apparel. This also includes any supplies for vehicles, for the building. Next, we have purchase property, which includes electricity for the airport, if we need any repairs done to the vehicles or equipment, so that would be the services. And then equipment hire and rentals. Next, we have cell phone, internet, insurance, and that's it for those. Any questions on those? No? Okay. The next page is included is for the ramp grant, but we can bring that back, I believe, at a later time, once we know for sure about that one, but it's just for information. Any other questions? We'll get the reimbursement for the ramp grant. Well, on the page 124, sorry, this came straight from our budget. The operating total would be the 123,909. And then, yes, with the grant, it would total 223,909.
Okay, so the total operating for our proposed budget 2024 and 25 is 123 for next year then?
Yes, sir.
And then you have $100,000 grant.
Yes.
Doesn't that lower it to 20?
I'm sorry, what?
No, it lowers it. See, on the next page, that's the total. It's 220, lowers it by 100.
It's two separate, I apologize, I'm Gabriel Onstra, Director of Finance. The operations, the maintenance and operation is that first page, the 123,909. The second page is strictly just the grant, the ramp, that's separate, and that would only be due, that's only due according to what we actually spend on it, so it's separate, it's two different things. The everyday maintenance operating, that's the 123. We can't use ramp grant towards that. Capital outlay as well, that's just a budgeted item. Correct. So strict, what we're asking, or not what we're asking, but the 123,909 is what we're concentrating on because that's the operation of the airport.
And on here,
And on the grant, it's a 90-10 split, so the 90's from the grant,
State.
10% is for us to split. You normally split that, yes, sir. Correct. That was just reduced, I believe, 2 years ago to 10%.
so I see on
The
here,
ramp grant is an annual grant, routine airport maintenance program. The other grant we get yearly is the NPE, non-primary entitlement funds, $150,000 a year, and we can bank that. Just so y'all know, the airport has two runways, one's 6,000 feet, one's 4,494 feet. They're both classified as C2. They have a weight rating, a single wheelbase rating of about 30,000 on one, 23 on the other. But for practical purposes, we've had a lot larger planes land there. We want to get a pavement study done. One of the questions I get often when somebody's trying to fly in is, can you handle this kind of plane? So all I can tell them is we've had Gulfstream 3s come in at 40,000 pounds. We've had the Coast Guard, it's their large Senna plane, I believe is what it is. And that may be around 40,000 pounds. We've also had a Bombardier 6500 Global Express. It's like 70,000 pounds. So larger planes can land there. We just don't have a pavement study to be able to put that on the FAA website.
I'll make a motion that we cover $123,909. All contingent into a contract that we can all be happy with and be satisfied with. And of course, myself and the commissioners would be involved in the contract.
Doesn't it, Judge, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it require that we have 2 board members from the county and 2 for the city? Is that right?
Well, I told them about it. I know that there's representation from both under the old agreement, but I guess that would all have to be negotiated.
And let's just clarify something, I saw y'all's video on the city council meeting where y'all roasted us real good. Had some popcorn. But I don't have a problem working with you guys. I think we both need to work together. And I just want it in writing. Nobody works without a contract. Nobody works without having an agreement. And I firmly believe that if we can come down to a conclusion where we can have 2 board members each, we want to get involved in what's going on. I think the judge or anybody else in here who gets hired, who gets what's going on, we want to be part of it. If we're putting out money from our side, we want to be.
Right now, we're managing it. It's owned jointly by us, 50-50. The county owns it and we own it. But yeah, we are managing it. And it does take time. And we, from our standpoint, we're managing it and we're not part of this fund. There's expenses that aren't on this sheet. But yeah, we want to work together with you guys.
Definitely, I just, so we can come up with some kind of agreement that states that we'll both be part of it. I agree with it. I have no problem.
100%.
I second that motion, Judge.
We'll all be involved in the agreement and something we can all live with, and then we'll start. I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That was already in the proposed budget, Judge.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's leave it.
It's not on.
It's because it was in the proposed budget. Okay. Emergency medical service, no request. 911, I think we had a request. Didn't we have a request on 911?
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. 911 was requesting a total of $750 for GIS mapping programs.
Motion to
Sorry
approve.
about that.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Can you state your name? sir?
Richard Guerra, Emergency 911 Addressing.
So that's, you're addressing how much?
$750, sir.
You hadn't requested it, is it additional?
No, sir.
I have a motion
Second.
and a
Motion to
second.
approve, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Sir. Safety Department. It was $1,000 for fuel.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Vector, same. We've been doing a lot of spraying.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Juvenile probation, let's see, well, hold on. Human Services, no increase. Community Center, no increases. Community Library, no increase.
That juvenile, judge is,
Yes, but let me run through these. I don't think on all these other ones, economic development, fairgrounds, dues, parks, there was no request. So we'll go down to the juvenile probation. I don't think Mr. Smith's not here. So he requested detention services, an increase of 5,000, residential 5,000, and motor vehicles 15,000. The two 5,000s, those were for detention and then residential services needed for the juveniles.
I'll make a motion to accept the detention service and residential services, Judge. Deny the motor vehicle.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Community Supervision and Corrections Department, adult probation. I think that, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. Albert Ramirez, Director for the Community Supervision and Corrections Department. I did have some requests last time I came. One request was to reduce the residential funding to be able to increase my monitoring services. I had explained that the number of individuals placed on GPS services has increased. When I did appear last week, we were at 86 offenders on GPS. That has even increased more by about 10 individuals that were released from jail needing GPS services. And that's the reason for the increase in the monitoring services for the individuals that cannot afford to pay for GPS on their own. We pick up the cost.
And I think the surveillance officer with the motion we had in the beginning, that one got denied. Can I entertain a motion on the monitoring and residential services?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
That's going to be recorded as, well, it's denied automatically, right, the officer?
Yes. I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Albert, one of those grants that they use, the Lone Star or one of those grants wouldn't help pay for that.
You applied for a big one and we didn't get that grant.
Yeah, we, like I explained last week, we applied for a big grant. I was hoping that we could get that grant to be able to, it wouldn't cover any existing employees that we have, but it would cover additional staff that I had indicated that we needed. I mean, I provided the numbers. We've doubled since we started the public safety program. And we're in desperate need for a surveillance officer. And hopefully down the line, we'll be able to cover that. I am going to hire 2 new officers here in Jim Wells County and 1 officer in Brooks County, and I'm gonna be using a different funding source for that. But, you know, I was desperately needing, I mean, just this past week, we had 2 individuals that were violating their conditions of bond that were on GPS. One's a murder suspect, you know, being in places he shouldn't be. The other individual just stopped charging the GPS, so the need is there. You know, we need to have somebody full-time just devoted to monitoring these people on GPS for public safety. We can't put a price tag on that. I mean, we need to make sure that the community is safe and that these individuals that are court-ordered GPS, that we have somebody just 24/7 monitoring these individuals, making sure that they're following the conditions of bail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County agent?
That was labor also. There he is.
That was labor also.
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, just for clarification, I did not request an increase in that line item. I requested to to keep it the same, and that was my request, as we had approved in 2024. I'm in the hiring process right now to replace Mary, who just retired, and just needed that funding so we could try to recruit and retain a good, viable employee.
So it's just staying the same?
That was my request. But on the proposed budget, it had been dropped back to the salary that was,
It's the same thing, it's not changing anything.
the salary that we were currently using with Mary.
How did that happen?
It was, when it was approved last year, it was what we approved last year was for this year, for a 1-year overlap for the training. Because he already knew his employee was gonna retire, so it was just for this year. So for next year, it just went to what her salary was, what Mary's salary was, not that additional for the training. That's why.
When we hired our 4-H agent, Teresa, we had a salary savings there from what was budgeted during the time that we had lost Barbie. We rolled that over into the secretary position so that we could try to get somebody hired. That hasn't happened yet, but we're still in the process. And I was hoping just to be able to have something to be able to recruit and retain a good employee.
I made a motion to approve.
Made a motion?
I made a motion to approve.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I didn't miss nobody, right? I think we covered everything.
Commissioners?
We just have the commissioners left. I don't think there was too much there, right?
Everything changes within, so all the changes were within.
Yeah, I think all the changes didn't change their bottom line, right?
Yeah.
No, just the 2 additional, precinct 1 and precinct 4 had, to add the postage expense. And then precinct 3, just a little bit of change, added additional, fringe amount.
I don't see a problem.
Judge, I'm sorry, I just want to make it clear for myself, having to do with the city. In the beginning, Commissioner Garcia could follow the salaries or any kind of payroll coming in. The city, when they presented, they have a part-time employee, that was okay?
Yeah, that's already there. We're not hiring anybody.
Picking that up, right?
Yes, as part of that money, as part of our part of it.
But it's not of our employee though.
Yeah.
It's not our employee, no, Judge? It would go, Michael?
Well, half of it.
It wouldn't be our employee.
In
so-
essence, half of it.
Yeah, but it's not our employees, so we're giving them the money, they're using it for them. Would that be right? Is that right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the agreement is basically a subsidy that we're giving to the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so, but it,
And then they're telling you how they're gonna use it.
But it's
And
not our
they're gonna
employee.
use they're using, what, 2/3 of it, maybe more, 80,000 out of the 123 salaries.
but what I'm saying is it's not our employee.
It's not our employee.
It doesn't- How would that make a difference? How would that?
He's asking for clarification.
Yes.
He said, no, we weren't gonna increase hours in anything. We are, because we're spending no money. That's all, I just wanna make sure
What he meant to say was it wasn't increasing salaries within the county.
Cindy, how much did we reduce, $1,000,001, 6 months?
So the total I have right now, is approved, 353,515.
That's a good savings.
I'm sorry, did y'all vote on the precinct one?
Yeah.
Y'all did? Okay.
No.
No, we have it.
We didn't vote.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. How much was that savings in?
What y'all approved is,
Preliminary, right?
yeah, 353,515.
Hold on just a second. Wow, put that thing up. Good. So we approved how much?
353,515.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so from 1.1 million, we went down to 353? That's good.
Is that the last one, Judge?
That's it, we're done.
I'd just like to say that one of our biggest duties here at the Commissioners Court is to keep this county physically sound. Our finances need to be there for emergencies, for other things that we, come up with. So I think we did a great job reducing the requests. And good luck to everybody. And I'd like to thank everybody, actually.
I'd like to thank everybody also for taking into consideration the needs that we have.
You
And
know, can I say something? That 2016, we had basically, well, it was a bigger problem when we lost the economy going. So we adopted a budget that halfway through the year, we had to start reducing it. So people lost their jobs and everybody, and whoever stayed, we reduced them by 10%. We had to do a lot. So we don't want to visit those times again. So this is a good start to just keep us as sound as we can. Thank you.
And just to add on to what he says, when I was judge then, when I went to go and talk to my senior judges about that situation, and they asked me, Judge, you gonna cut in the middle of the year? Yes. That never happens, Judge. That's almost disaster for you. I said, well, we ain't never had a situation like this before. We have to do things that we ain't never have done before to rectify the situation. And he's exactly right. We don't want to be in that situation. Never. It wasn't a good one. And I think we're not in that situation right now. And I think that some of the decisions we made today and some of the decisions that we need to make here in this, to finish off this budget 2025, there's gonna be another couple of tough decisions. But I think it's a good start, and we appreciate everybody for taking that into consideration. And when we cut the requests and people can live with it, that's fine, and we appreciate that. Anybody else wants to say anything? If not, can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Make sure that's the only thing we have, right? That's all we have, agenda item is that, and adjourn, okay. I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Oh,
Motion granted. Thank you, everybody.
maybe I can sleep better tonight.